Hello and welcome to another podcast. And today it is loads of wingers that we're going to be looking at. So we've done right backs, left backs, centre backs, and defensive midfielders. Today, let's take a look at wingers. And the next one, which I'll probably record tomorrow and will come out in a couple of days. And when you hear this, we'll have a look at strikers. But for today, we're going to take a look at wingers. And we're going to look at left wingers who could come in and either start straight away or compete with Gakpo, or ones that could come in and potentially in a year's time be ready to start. So three different categories and two different types of wingers. So some are out and out wingers, some are kind of wing attacking midfield hybrids, similar to what Arne liked when he was at Feyenoord. I was kind of hoping to put together a list of left-footed left wingers because I really like the idea of a left-footed left winger, someone that can beat people on the outside and, provide real width. But as I dug into the list that I had, there wasn't names there. I mean, Pedro Neto, if not for injuries, had long been my kind of top target for a left winger, because I just think he's a really exceptional footballer, beats people for fun, naturally creative, great dribbler, scores goals. But he was constantly injured, and then he went to Chelsea, so that took him off the board. So I only really have, I think, one left-footed option on here, and that's Mohammed Kudus of West Ham. Now, the production is not great. It's important to start there. He doesn't produce as much as you would want him to, given the type of fee that's been talked about. And David Ornstein reported the other day that his release clause this summer is only going to be active for 10 days. And for Premier League clubs, it's like 85 million. And frankly, for a fella who has 3 goals and 3 assists in 2,200 minutes this season, simply nowhere close to value. Now, I still think he's an outstanding footballer. And I think if you could get him in the 55 to 60 million range, it could be a deal worth doing, because I think his dribbling ability, his explosiveness, he is a good crosser, and he does shoot very well off his left foot, but the production is just not consistent enough, and it's never been consistent enough. So I would rule him out because the price is just outrageous for the production that you're getting. Like 3 goals, 3 assists. I know West Ham have been dreadful this season, and it's not entirely his fault that he hasn't produced as much, but he does have to take partial blame. He has not performed well. Now, some will argue that he's actually a right winger, but I prefer him on the left, and I always have. I preferred him on the left at Ajax than on the right, because I think when he plays on the right, he at times forgets to pass. Now, last season, he put up 18 goals and 5 assists in about 3,800 minutes across all competitions, which was pretty good, 8 and 6 in the league. He did primarily play on the right last season because Bowen played a lot up front, but I do prefer him on the left. I prefer what he can offer you. But at that price, that's just not a deal that you're going to do. And I'm going to do these in sort of reverse order to how I wrote them down, because he was the last name I actually put on the list. So we'll work backwards. Xavi Simons of RB Leipzig. Again, he's one that I'm not hugely keen on. I really like parts of his game, but off ball, he's a non-entity. And he just can be too lightweight. There's not an explosive burst of pace there. There's clearly a lot of talent. And he is, like, unlike Kudus, who's a winger, he's a wing 10 hybrid type of player. Probably best in a box midfield as one of the 2 advanced ones. I can see why a lot of people like him, which is why I put him on the list. But for the price you'd be looking, which I believe, again, is in that 80 million sort of range, it just wouldn't be one for me. Malik Fofana of Lyon is a very, very fun player. Belgian international, really talented, really skillful dribbler. A little bit undersized. He's about 5'6", 5'7", so that does concern me as to how effective he can be off the ball. 10 goals, 5 assists this season in his first season it's his first full season because he moved in the January of 2024. But like skill-wise, talent-wise, you wouldn't question it, but I would worry about the physicality of the Premier League and the off-ball side of the game. He is currently out with a knee injury. I'm not sure the severity. But he's played 35 games. That 10 goals, 5 assists comes in just 1,850 or so minutes, which is pretty good production, especially in your first season in a top 5 league, especially at such a young age. He's only 20, turns 21 in May. He'd be one to bring in and develop behind Cody for a year or two, but certainly a very talented player. Eliesse Ben Seghir is next on my list, and I think he is outrageously talented. So everybody knows I love Lamine Camara at Monaco, so I've watched a lot of Monaco this year, and Lamine is the standout, but the other guy who does consistently stand out for me is Ben Seghir. And this season, he's having his best season in terms of production. In the league, he's got 9 goals and assists. In all competition, it's 13, which isn't huge. It's 2,300 minutes. It's not huge numbers, not blow you away numbers. But I really like the way he sort of knits things together as well. I think he could be that wing 10 hybrid option, a playmaker type that Arna's looking for. Now, he does play for Morocco, so you do lose him for AFCON. But if we have Cody, it's not a huge issue. Again, I think he's one you probably bring him in, develop him behind Cody for a year. He's got 2 years left in his contract, so I think there would be a deal there to be had. And I don't think he'd cost an outrageous amount, but when you watch him play, it is a joy to watch. His manipulation of the ball, his ability to sell defenders with body feints, quick footwork, it's all there. The talent is all there. The desire seems to be there. Off ball definitely needs to tick upwards, but he's only just turned 20 in February. He's very young. And I think the ceiling is very, very high on him. So he would definitely make my short list of targets. I think he's one that's absolutely worth a really, really hard look this summer. Next one then is Simon Adingra of Brighton. I know people will immediately go, Brighton, tough to deal with. They're not always tough to deal with. They can be very, very fair. They can be very agreeable to the right terms. And they rarely do overcharge. Like, look at the history of Brighton sales. Everybody tracks towards the Caicedo deal for obvious reasons. But they're generally not a club that holds players to ransom. Now, he's got 3 years left in his deal. The reason I think he might be worth trying for is because I actually think you might be able to get him a little bit cheaper than people think. And the reason is this: he's only played 1,000 minutes this season in all competitions. He hasn't been in the manager's plans a ton because Brighton are loaded with wingers. Like, Brighton have, if anything, too many wingers to be able to keep everybody happy. You think of on the right, we're looking at Yankuba Minta. We're looking at Solly March. There is on the left, Matoma. Adingra, obviously. Then you've got Brian Gruda, who plays both flanks. Jorginho Rutter has also seen time on the wings. Ibrahim Osman, the young Ghanaian winger they signed in I think they signed him in January of last year, and he joined them in the summer, and they loaned him straight away to Feyenoord. He's another big option and another huge talent that they'll have back next year. There's Buenanote, who they've got out on loan. Like, if anything, they have too many wings. And I do just wonder if maybe you buy the dip on Adingra. Again, you lose them to AFCON, so, that's obviously something to consider. But I think the talent level is undeniable there.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to AnfieldIndex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.